My name is Claire Marie. I'm a professional base jumper and a mountain bike racer. I am here to push myself to see what I can do that Lara Croft does. I guess I'm trying to prove that what the character does, what Lara Croft does, is well within the scope of ability. And I'm definitely not trying to be Lara Croft for a day, but trying to push myself to see how I measure up to the stunts that Lara Croft does. That's one of the things that I love about the new Lara Croft, is to be able to see that character development. She's a total badass in the beginning for sure, but a lot of the emphasis was placed on her appearance. And to now see the evolution of the character, she's still, you know, a beautiful woman, very attractive, but now we're focusing on how hardcore she is. What she's capable of. That's one of the things that I love about the progression.
Meet Claire Marie, base jumper, mountain bike racer, rock climber. As a professional adventure sports athlete, Claire has traveled the world looking for challenges that combine the highest levels of mental and physical strength, facing challenges that require her to push beyond her limits. And today, we've brought her here to do just that. Throughout the Tomb Raider series, Lara Croft has demonstrated feats of incredible athleticism. But where do the lines between the fantastic and reality meet? Claire is here to answer that question and explore the true physical and mental strength it takes to make a Tomb Raider. One thing we know about Lara Croft is that she is fearless when it comes to heights. In Tomb Raider and Rise of the Tomb Raider, she doesn't bat an eye when crossing huge gaps, where one mistake means falling to her death. Taking inspiration from Lara's many adventures, we decided to create a challenge that would test Claire Marie's balance, coordination, and most important of all, her courage. We brought in American Ninja Warrior veteran Chris Wilczewski to help us design some Tomb Raider challenges.
What's up, I'm Claire.
Hey, I'm Chris. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well. So what are you doing here?
I come from an obstacle background. I've been competing on Ninja Warrior almost the entirety of the show, and I design obstacle courses and challenges for a living.
That's kind of awesome. So I'm a professional base jumper and a mountain bike racer. Basically just kind of more of an adventure sports athlete across the board.
You're probably pretty fearless then. Like, is there anything that you fear when you're doing this stuff?
Of course, no, I'm not fearless. I think that fear is super healthy. I experience fear all the time, just like almost anybody else. It's just moving past that fear. Like heights kind of freak me out a little bit if I don't have some kind of a protection in place. If I'm free soloing with rock climbing, you know, I know that it's me and the wall, and so, you know, super slow and smooth.
So you'll actually free solo. How high do you free solo?
The highest that I free soloed was about 400 feet.
400 feet. So that's 400 feet of climbing with no harness, no rope.
Yep.
That's pretty gnarly. Well, we got some obstacles here for you. Hopefully they give you a little bit of fear.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know much of what's going on here. They wouldn't let me look around at all, so I'm super excited to kind of get a little glimpse at what I'm going to be attempting here.
There's definitely going to be some elements of fear because you're going to be high up.
Yep.
There's going to be some elements of balance and coordination.
Yep. All right. I'm totally down.
Our first challenge, called Lara's Crossing, consists of two parts. Part 1 begins here, 22 feet in the air. The square steel beam in front of her is 20 feet long and only 3 inches wide. Part 2 sits 8 feet lower. Claire must now navigate an unstable 3-inch round pipe. One last thing to remember, even though the beam is 22 feet in the air, Claire's eyes are at 27 feet. So this journey feels like crossing between two 3-story buildings. Since there are no extra lives in the real world, we had our safety team place boxes to protect Claire in case she falls. The challenge started with a quick tutorial.
I want you to hit, see where we got the flats right there?
Yeah.
I want you to hit right in that area.
Okay.
Right there,
Yeah.
right?
Okay. Ah, I'm nervous. It's always the first time, right? You try something new, you have no idea what to
Exactly.
expect, what it's gonna be like.
You're not gonna mess it up. It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be nice, easy turn. It's gonna be falling for like half a second, and
Yeah.
then you'll be on the box and be like, wow, that was great.
Okay. All right. Ready? That was a little bit more abrupt than I was anticipating. I mean, I feel more comfortable that if I fell from up there, I wouldn't hit the ground, that's for sure. But that was good. Now I gotta go fix my hair. Oh boy.
How you feeling?
I'm nervous now.
You wanna go up there and take a look at it?
Yeah. I'm definitely more nervous than I was earlier, for sure.
Well, it's real now. It's about to happen.
I know, right? All right. Whew.
What are you thinking?
I'm thinking this looks high.
How do you feel about the thickness of it?
I don't know. I guess it could be this thick and I'd still be just as nervous, I feel like. So I'm glad it's not any thinner. I'm not a huge fan of heights, honestly. Like
somebody
what
who
I was
jumps
saying
off
before.
giant
I know, but I
things.
have protection. I have a parachute. I have a harness. Even with free soloing, like I'm free soloing things that are way below my climbing ability,
Gotcha.
like way below my grade. All right, I guess we should give it a go.
Good luck.
Thanks. I need all the luck that I can get. Oh boy. This is gonna be hard.
It's definitely tricky. It's not easy.
The height is sketching me out. Ah, I hate that. Oh boy. Nope. Okay, I need a second.
Yeah, take a second. Okay, hold.
This is like freaking me out.
It's high. We're pretty high up right now.
Yeah. I think they're worried about me falling as soon as I get on it.
Is it starting to feel more comfortable?
I guess a little bit. Oh, my legs are just going crazy as soon as I step on that. As soon as I like do any kind of weight shift or like lift up or try to transfer, that's when it's like shaky.
It's safe. It's really safe.
Yeah, it's not about that being safe. I know that that's safe. Plus, I told you, I'm not stoked on heights.
But you got it. Just stay relaxed. It's gonna. The further out you get, the more comfortable you're gonna feel.
Whew.
Nice. Great job.
Oh, I was so sketched out. I was peaking so hard. My heart rate was like super high. I would step on the beam, and as soon as I stepped on, my legs started shaking. So I was like, all right, I need to calm down.
You
So,
still got one more.
oh, this one's gonna be tricky. I don't know about this one.
Just go nice and slow, same thing.
Man. Oh my
Great
God.
job.
Woo, that was hard. Actually, this one was a little bit easier because it moved more, so it was more like a slack
Oh,
line.
it felt like a slack line?
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh man. I need a second.
What were you thinking when they brought in more boxes?
That I hope they know what they're doing. And that they were probably anticipating me falling right out the gate.
Did you look down?
I looked down when I was getting my feet placed initially, but then did not look down again. Looking down would make me super unstable, so.
So where do you think this rates on kind of the Lara difficulty scale?
Honestly, I have no idea. For my difficulty, like it's one of the more difficult challenges because I'd never done anything like this before. For her, I think it's probably like run of the mill. My first adventure sport was rock climbing. Rock climbing for me is really kind of unique. It's oddly meditative. So when you're on the rock, you're focusing on your breath, you're focusing on being smooth and having it be a fluid motion rather than super aggressive. So although it's a strength sport, it's really about being smooth and solid and pretty clear in your head. It can definitely be a fear sport. It's one of those things where you have to recognize the fear and dive deeper into it to figure out where it's coming from and how to kind of push past it. And a lot of that is, it's very internal. Lara Croft is definitely a rock climber. I mean, there's a bunch of elements to what she's doing and getting up and over things, all of that's climbing.
In Tomb Raider 2013, we see Lara's adoption of the bow and arrow. No! Return of the Tomb Raider is set in a completely different environment. This new landscape pushed Lara to rely on yet another signature tool, the ice axe.
Jonah, we made it! I see the ruins!
The ice axe becomes a climbing tool, a transportation device, and an effective weapon. Since Claire has a climbing background, we decided to introduce her to Lara's ice axes. We designed a challenge to test her arm strength, endurance, and her ability to fight through adversity. All she has to do is use the ice axes to reach the top of this 28-foot wall. Even though the wall is not made of ice, it will be plenty slippery. Every 8 feet, Claire will find 2-inch ledges to help strategically plan her ascent. Let's see what happens.
So, what do we have next?
In the game, Lara is always climbing stuff using her pickaxes. So what we're gonna have you do is we're gonna have you launch off of this platform,
Okay,
catch onto our wall, and then traverse your way all the way to the top.
awesome.
Have you done any ice axe climbing before?
I've never used an ice axe before.
So
ever.
this will be good new territory for you.
This'll definitely be a first. Well, that didn't work at all.
It looked really tough. Can you walk me
Yeah.
through what was going on with your axes there?
I think that the change in the angle plus the arm fatigue and the fact that my feet were slipping just kind of made for not a very clean attempt.
Well, I have a fun little gift for you.
All right.
We're gonna be using these. This is actually gonna hook onto one of your ice axes.
All right.
And you're gonna be able to physically step into it to
Yeah.
get a little grip on your feet.
Perfect. It's not working. All right. I think I'm done.
Is it the first time you've been frustrated on this course?
This is not the first time I've been frustrated, but it's the most frustrated I've been, for sure. Yeah, because conceptually, I feel like I should be able to make it up this wall, but in all reality, there's several different things that are making it super difficult. It's a little bit of me, it's a little bit of the situation.
I mean, you got about 20 feet up.
Yeah,
You got up there on, I think you got that high on your last attempt.
on the last attempt.
I mean, you stopped at one point.
Really, I just needed a second to get my arms relaxed a little bit. I was ready to give up there for a hot minute. I mean, I think it'll go. I just think that I haven't quite figured out how to do it just yet.
You're going to be thinking about this until tomorrow, aren't you?
Oh, I'm gonna be dreaming about this. I was introduced to mountain biking about 4 years ago, and I wasn't necessarily sure I was going to enjoy it just because I had so many other things going on, and I like to be fully committed to what I'm doing. I have zero desire to be mediocre. It took a little bit. My first ride was just horrendous. I was like struggling. I was having issues with the bike. Felt like I was horribly out of shape. I went back a couple weeks later and did it again. And I was like, okay, I could see how someone could be kind of interested in this. You know, you get to be outside. You get to cover lots of ground. You get to experience a bunch of different terrain. I enjoy the way that it makes me look at myself and my mental process. So for me, I like seeing some dangers, some risks, and options, and in the moment being able to decide which one's gonna be, you know, best suited for success. I enjoy the way that it pushes me.
I can do this.
Lara is introduced to archery in Tomb Raider 2013. Stranded and hungry, she uses her bow and arrows as a tool to survive.
Sorry.
Later, her bow becomes a weapon as she's attacked by wolves, bears, and various mercenaries. Throughout Tomb Raider 2013 and Rise of the Tomb Raider, the bow and arrow quickly becomes part of Laura's identity.
I'm not your enemy.
Since Lara picked up a bow and taught herself to shoot under duress, we decided to see if Claire could do the same. To help Claire's initial ability with a bow, we gave her a 20-minute lesson with professional archer Virginia Haskin.
This is a recurve bow. You can tell it's a recurve because it has almost like a swoop here. It's one of the easiest bows to learn on. It's also one of the most forgiving. Archery is all about consistency, which comes from great form. Great form also lets you use your body in the most efficient manner possible, which I know as an athlete, you understand completely. So let's walk through how to do that. We're going to be using something called T-form. T-form, like the T. We use our hip towards the target.
Okay.
So unlike guns, which are more here, archery is almost like a 90-degree from the
Okay, so
target.
we're side, not squared.
Exactly.
Perfect.
That's the foundation of your archery form.
Okay.
All right? This is what you're going to look like right before you let that arrow go. Okay, 2 notes. And notice when you're pulling back, you're coming back here.
Okay.
Again, we want nice and straight,
Okay.
because then we can use our back.
Okay.
And be careful not to raise your elbow too much. Good.
All right. I feel way more confident than I did before in my archery abilities, especially given that I went once before I came here, and then she told me that everything that I was doing was wrong. So it was basically like starting from square one with her.
Much better. That's a red.
Claire will start in this rock circle and race to the ridge. There she will use her rock climbing skills to retrieve her bow and arrows. Next up is accuracy. She will return to rock circle 1 and hit these 2 targets 30 feet and 45 feet away. Next, an uphill sprint to rock circle 2 to test a different version of accuracy. Can she loft arrows over 150 feet into the Infinity Rock sculpture? From there, it's downhill to rock circle 3 to attempt 3 targets at 30, 40, and 50 feet. It's a short run to rock circle 4, where she must strike the final target 90 feet away. Remember, she cannot move on to the next rock circle until she hits the target or targets.
I walked down this hill a couple times, and in my mind I was like, I'm totally gonna eat on this for sure. And that's where it would happen. So that's just me. So it was really challenging. Everything that I've shot has been directly in front of me, so it's just kind of like a straight shot, whereas that one has the arc, so it adds a bunch of different elements to it. that last shot is kind of a doozy. You got the little roller in front of it, so you got to aim up higher a little bit more. It's further away. I actually figured out, since I have a couple different types of arrows, that there was one specific one that was a little bit longer and a little bit heavier that actually went further.
How'd you do?
It's different than I thought. Adding all the different elements was pretty challenging for sure.
Feel tired? Upper body kind of big workout?
Yeah, I'm way more fatigued than I thought I was going to be in my upper body, but I quickly realized that this movement and pulling back and shooting it uses a very unique muscle combination, one that I'm not used to using, so it's very, very different than I was expecting. All right, you ready?
Yep.
Growing up, when I would climb any cliff, I would always sit at the top with my feet over the edge. And I had this weird little feeling kind of deep in the pit of my stomach, and I'd be like, man, I wonder what it would be like if I just ran and jumped off this right now. One of the big draws for me for base jumping is the fact that it's an entire adventure. It's not just jumping off of something. It's being out in nature, it's hiking, climbing, scrambling, whatever it takes to get to the top of something. And then you get to do the jump. I did my first base jump off of a 480-foot power tower. As soon as my feet left the edge, I was like, oh, this is what I'm supposed to do.
We are introduced to a strong, purposeful, determined Lara Croft in Tomb Raider 2013. However, Lara the Incredible Athlete first emerges when her research ship, the Endurance, is battered by a storm and sinking. Out of options, she must run and leap from the tattered steel deck toward her friend Roth. At first glance, that looks like a 25-foot leap. Pretty impressive for someone of Lara's size and stature running and jumping from a slippery surface. Lara has shown time and again that her jumping ability and skill with an ice axe go hand in hand.
Gotcha!
If Claire can make this jump, her physical test won't stop there. After launching herself across an 8-foot gap towards this 2.5-inch bar that's suspended 25 feet above the ground, she'll have to gather her strength and retrieve a pair of ice axes that are attached to both ends of the bar.
Where can I stand so I'm not in your run-up?
Right where you're at.
Cool.
Would you recommend running from all the way back?
That's one of those things you got to pace out yourself. You got to figure out exactly where you're going to be so your steps are right.
Yeah. So if I don't make it, how am I supposed to follow? See, because now I'm more nervous about the fall than I'm nervous about the actual jump.
Pace it out a few times. Do like a mock run-up.
Yeah. Do like a boom, 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 up. All right.
Nice.
Oh, that's hard. worried about the jump than I was getting my feet up. And I went to get my feet up the first time and I was like, well, that's not gonna work. So I actually had to time it with the swing to get my foot up and over it. It's gonna get harder for sure.
We are making it harder. We move the bar 1 foot farther and 1 foot higher. Let's see what happens.
Of course, as soon as I get ready, like the heart rate goes up again.
That same thing, just put a little more speed into it. That was awesome.
I've been base jumping for 13 years, and almost every one of my base jumps, I'm planting 1 foot, I'm driving with a knee, and I'm going like up and out. And so kind of took the same approach for this, get the distance, get the height, so I'm not landing extended.
How'd it feel?
Good. The catch was the easier part.
The catch felt good?
Yeah.
How'd it compare to base jumping?
Way shorter.
Way shorter?
On the Lara scale, how tough do you think that one was?
With all of the different elements, I think it's getting up there, but I know there's more to come, so I know you keep trying to trick me. That one was fun.
In Tomb Raider 2013, Lara Croft is immediately put into a life-threatening situation.
Help! Jorna! Brian!
She's been captured and strung upside down in an ominous cave.
Got to get down.
Stripped of her physical abilities, she must use her mind to devise an escape.
It's gonna hurt.
Now it's Claire Marie's turn to be hung upside down and find a way to free herself from the same predicament Lara was forced to survive. Let's go over the ground rules. The cave is 12 feet high and 13 feet wide. The object of the challenge is to escape and get safely to the ground. We put a knife on the cave wall 7 feet away. All she has to do is reach the knife, climb up the rope, and cut herself down. Let's see what happens.
Am I starting her push?
No, I think they want me to try to get it going first myself.
In the cave, Lara is hanging perfectly still. She is able to subtly move her head to get herself swinging toward the fire. Let's see if Claire can do the same.
I don't know if it's gonna work. Yeah, I don't think it's gonna work. There's like no way. I'm gonna have to work on that swinging, getting started thing from upside down a little bit more, because that was super challenging. Yeah, I definitely struggled with that today. Can I use the ground?
You can use whatever you want.
Because I can touch the ground now. I feel like I'm coming down. I'm not gonna like fall onto my head, am I? I feel like I'm moving in the wrong direction. Once I started getting more momentum, I was able to, touch the ground a little bit more and eventually get to the cliffside, push off from the cliffside. But one side was easier to reach than the other, and of course the other side is where the knife was. As I was swinging back, I ended up dropping it. which is a little bit heartbreaking to me because I just worked so hard to get to it. Once I dropped the knife, there was a little bit of frustration just because that was something that I did wrong that then made it even more difficult for me.
All right, you guys, I feel like I'm gonna get sick right now. Yeah, I need to come up.
Really difficult to get moving, and once I got moving, it was super disorienting. Anytime I was trying to get to the wall, I wasn't sure which wall I was getting to, and I was spinning at one point really quickly. Once I had the knife, part of me is like, sweet, I got it. And then I'm like, oh, now I have to climb up my own legs and the rope in order to cut myself down. The stuff that Lara Croft does in the game is possible, but you know, I'm an athlete and I'm in shape and I work out, and that stuff was incredibly challenging.
Nothing goes as planned when you're a Tomb Raider, and expecting the unexpected is part of every adventure. In our final challenge, we're going to find out if Claire shares Lara's ability to adapt and solve the previous challenges in new ways.
Day 3. I am incredibly sore right now.
What hurts?
Neck is pretty sore from the box fall. Arms are a little fatigued and sore from the climbing. Got a little bruise from the archery. Yeah, I got hit. Got this super awesome bruise from my fall. So, I mean, aside from being sore, I'm super excited though. I get to try the wall again, which I'm super pumped about, really hoping that I can do it when I'm maybe a little bit more fresh. I am being kept totally in the dark, not allowed out there at all, because I know that there are other elements that are being added to the course right now to kind of surprise me, so we'll see how it goes.
Surprise! We have been hard at work. We commissioned Chris to string multiple challenges together.
Day 1 was great on multiple levels because you learned that a lot of this stuff that you see in the game is actually possible in real life, and that Claire is awesome at it. So then how do we push it harder? How do we add in more elements of danger? How we're going to take it to the Tomb Raider level? How do we push her to that real level?
But these aren't just the same challenges one after the other. We felt it was important to increase the degree of difficulty.
Set, we're going.
For example, escaping from hanging upside down was cool, but we're assuming she can do it faster if we set her on fire. Lara's crossing was hard, but what about adding an obstacle to step over, spinning tires, and a swinging heavy bag? At Lara's leap, Claire exceeded our expectations, so we shortened her runway and moved the bar higher. We've also added some things she hasn't seen, like this zip line, this free climb, and this flaming ladder crossing. We've also placed yellow checkpoints to guide her through the course. For Claire, there are only 2 rules. Go as fast as you can, and don't give up. To kick off the final challenge, Claire will find herself in a familiar situation, hung upside down. But to raise the stakes, we've added a new Tomb Raider level of difficulty to the challenge. Claire will be upside down, but also on fire. If Claire can't reach the fire extinguisher in 15 seconds, the danger will be too great, and our safety team will need to intervene.
got lit on fire. And it was amazing. I have never been lit on fire before. This is the first time. There's that added motivation. My feet are on fire. Of course, I'm gonna try as hard as I can to put it out.
Next is a two-part obstacle that Claire has never seen. Both parts of this obstacle involve ladders that just happen to be on fire. The first ladder is 12 feet long with one rung every foot. If she can navigate the first ladder, Claire will quickly find that the rung placement on the second ladder is less predictable. And because of the intense heat from the fire, Claire will have to traverse this obstacle using ice axes.
We've seen her use the ice axes, but we haven't seen her use them in this way, and it's problem solving. You know, the thing's on fire, you can't grab it with your hands. These are the tools at your disposal. How do you figure out the problem? How do you solve it?
The fire ladder didn't go quite as planned. My hands were getting really hot. Ended up dropping down, started getting a little frustrated, and so I really took that as an opportunity to step back for a second, really look at it critically and be like, all right, what do I have to do to actually make it happen this time? Take an already sweaty hand person and put flames next to them, and it's a recipe for disaster, which is why I just went for the last swing a little early, because I knew if I tried another little inch over that I was gonna drop down. It worked, so that's all I care about. You guys so kindly removed a lot of the rungs, and so there's no way that I could actually make that reach with my index. So I was like, well, let's go across the side. And at this point, I was just holding on for dear life and figuring out what put the least amount of strain on my upper body.
Claire is so calculated. She was like, it's not gonna work this way, my arms aren't long enough. So she went to the outside and started shimmying along the side, which was a really smart approach, really impressive that she thought through that.
To get to her next objective, Claire must negotiate this portion of the course without touching the floor. She'll have to adapt her environment by strategically lifting and placing 25-pound tires to make a path. Much like Lara, Claire has to be constantly on the move, robbing her body of the valuable break it needs to rest and recover from the previous ladder crossing.
Yesterday, I really felt super taxed, especially just because of the adrenaline of some of the beam crossings, because that was something that made me really uncomfortable. Coming in today and looking up and seeing that, you know, there's an extra box and some things in the way, at first it was just like, man, no more like, let's just go for a clean walk across. Let's actually problem solve the whole way.
Claire, I feel like, is calculated. She thinks through problems, she solves, she's aware of the fear, she knows that it's present, but she perseveres through it.
The whole objective was to get through it in whatever way possible. It just made me have to change my approach. I think Laura would have done the exact same thing that I did. When I walked up here and I saw that they took away like 5 feet of my run up, I felt like I should be able to do this, but yesterday I barely made it and I had the full run up. The bar was just as far out, but higher up than it was yesterday, which did not go very well. Quitting is not really an option because I was definitely determined. Yesterday I was super disappointed, obviously, that I wasn't able to make it up the wall. That was the most frustrating part. It's just whether or not I have the mentality to look at it and say, okay, why did I fail? And let's try that again and do better next time. The ice wall was one of the trickiest challenges for me. Not only was it the first time that I'd ever used ice axes, but I was really having a hard time really getting a flow. Failing on the first day definitely put it in my mind that, like, all right, it's time to really think this through, figure out what I have to do to make it up there, because I was definitely determined.
Claire is now approaching the final challenge. She'll need to focus, steady her breathing, and hit this target to end the course. The shot is 100 feet away and 25 feet in the air. Physical exhaustion and the intimidating distance of the target will both come into play.
The final challenge for today was definitely the trickiest shot I think that I did. Not only did I have quite a bit of distance, but there was a lot of height as well. The first time that I took aim for it and it kind of went into the metal a little bit, I was a little bit discouraged that I wasn't going to be able to make it because it was so much further than anything I'd done before. When that arrow went into the gold, I was just totally excited. I wasn't really expecting it, but it was a happy surprise for sure.
Claire, that was unbelievable.
Oh my
Crushed
gosh.
it.
Thank you,
Come
thank
on
you.
down. How's it feel?
It feels good.
You ready to do it again?
I don't think so. I think I need a nap first, maybe next week.
I feel like you came out to LA, you showed us what it was like to be a real-life Lara Croft.
Thanks, it was a lot of fun. It was super challenging for sure.
Yeah, but you stayed determined, you persevered, and you did it with style.
Thanks. I definitely got pushed to my limits over the past couple days. A part of me is happy it's over, but the other part of me is kind of sad it's over. If there was one Lara Croft challenge that I could try again, it would definitely be getting lit on fire, working with fire. It was awesome. It's been an epic experience for sure, and it's been nice to kind of be pushed to my max a little bit because very rarely do I push myself to my absolute max. It's exhausting being Lara Croft. I don't know how she does this, like day in and day out.